Okay, YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Waiting to see if this is coming ping back on me here. My name is James PFP. This is the Banjocast. Got a little bit of a show for you here this evening. I'm letting you have a good look at the first picture before I get any further, though. Aha! Pitchforks, flaming torches. Hello, YouTube. Yes, I am back for another round. I got a bit of a challenge today. I say a challenge. It was drawn to my attention that there has been a challenge issued to the internet. Hi, YouTube. Uh, and this challenge is actually quite interesting to me. I should probably let you hear about the challenge sort of from the horse's mouth. So I've got a little bit of clickety click to go at here. Let me go to clickety click land. Huh. This challenge is directly related to a couple of news stories which have been going up over the going out over the airways, so to speak. I'm going to post a link to this video in the description. This is a video courtesy of a guy we know as Chris Simpson, but he's changed his name since then. Oh, this is nice. Control V isn't working anywhere else on YouTube for me, but it seems to be working if I live stream. That's good. That's good. Thank Christ I can Control V on some of my own page. Hangouts on air. Yeah. And I got the chat interface here. Anyone wants to chat, you can chat at me in the live chat. Here's Chris Simpson.
May 24th, 2018. Yesterday, WikiLeaks had two tweets they posted on their Twitter page. The first reads, shortly before he was silenced 56 days ago, @Julian Assange was investigating the UK's involvement in what has now become known as Spygate. So that's 56 days after Ecuador cut off Julian Assange's internet at the embassy. The last time this happened, this happened previously back in October 2016 when this happened. There led to speculation that Julian Assange had been killed. So again, people now waiting to hear from Julian Assange. This is has happened again now. They also, in a second tweet, WikiLeaks released this video. Appears to be a secretly recorded video, and they say they've tweeted along with this video. They say that it's an announcement video enhancement competition for infrared footage of covert @Julian Assange grab team notes. And then they say lightning best early result through the week, most text they're asking for in 144 hours, and for the month, most text by June 23rd. So they're referencing the notes that these three individuals in this car are holding. You can catch it at several parts of the video. They flash these mission briefing notes, appears to be. They flash them across the camera several times through the video. You can go to WikiLeaks Twitter page, and I also have linked in the description of this video the full high-quality video they've linked to. So they have one tweet.
So yeah,
the announcement that they gave.
In case you haven't noticed, then there's a competition to enhance this video, and I've had a little bit of a look at it.
Along with that, so they're asking for
we'll get to that.
Help deciphering those notes. They link to the full file, and I think that they give some advice on how to go about enhancing that video. They have a second tweet again releasing the same
I'm planning
video,
on
the actual.
Just so you understand this evening on the live stream, this is what I'm planning on doing: is to be looking at this video as, is there any way that we can improve this? I'm going to do this two different methods, both of which have already kind of I worked on earlier today. So it's not totally out of context what I'm planning on be doing here. I just want to establish what that context
on their Twitter page is slightly shorter. It's about 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. The
useful area of the video is quite a bit shorter than 2 minutes or 4 minutes. It's actually about 80 seconds. 80 seconds of useful video. And I'm going to, spoiler alert, it's 25 frames a second.
Uh, Video in the archive link is about 1 minute, roughly 1 minute longer. The second one they tweet to the same video.
You do see some interesting things in that minute. Don't get me wrong. There are some interesting things in the minute that which is above the useful visible range, but it's not pertinent to the mission briefing.
Julian Assange grab team stakeout operation reading mission briefing notes. That's what WikiLeaks thinks these three individuals, we can play the video here, are doing. So they were recorded.
Look at the time here. I've reason to suspect that I might have been streaming at this very moment in time.
Over darkness, I'm reading through a Steemit blog where they've deciphered some of the.
This is also known as Tibbs Eve. Just December 23rd, 24th is Tibbs Eve.
Briefing notes. They have their own version. It seems to be, and they've taken a screenshot. I have that blog included if you want to look at the actual image. You can look after the video. There's no audio along with this video, so I'll just read through this interpretation. Again, this is from the Steemit blog. User Fortified. I've shared it on my Steemit page over at Reality Reader. You can find it there. So this video, this is from the archive link. This is the full video. It's about 4 minutes long. The video on the Twitter page is roughly 2 minutes, 20 seconds long.
I may well be uploading something to archive when I'm done here.
According to the time code on the video, you can see this is, it seems that this was recorded late last year, December 2017, 12/24/17.
It is hardly, look at that, some nice
just after midnight
images available there.
In the tweet.
I wondered first if that was a redacted area at the top of the page, but I'm not sure.
Refers to.
It's also appears to be that we're using some form of night vision to see here. The reflection in his eyes is really, really obvious.
The three men in the video as a grab team, so therefore it would seem logical that the video was taken from within, from inside the Ecuadorian embassy. So they link to that, the same tweet. Looking for more information into grab teams. Again, I'm just looking through the blog with the still image that they've included.
So these guys are after presumably passing for American.
And I have it linked in the description, but they try to give a little bit more information on grab teams. They say what they've found is pretty troublesome. Most references refer to military grab teams that have been involved in capturing high-level terrorist targets. One grab team, for example, a reported grab team was used by Delta Force in kidnapping an alleged Al-Qaeda-linked Libyan terrorist. Below, they link a description, one that he found of a grab team that could be similar to what's being described, what WikiLeaks believes these three people are. So at this point in the video, you can see he's holding up these briefing notes as well. We will go to the still image where you can see that more clearly. But just looking at a grab team, so this is one definition of a grab team. Employ a snatch and grab team. Conditions: a snatch and grab team is identified from within the company formation and instructed to detain an instigator from an ongoing civil disturbance. The task standard: the snatch and grab team moves the instigator from the area per instructions of the OIC without injury to the instigator or team members using the minimum amount of force necessary. So that is, we've gone through most of the video. I think that's the clearest shot that you get of those notes that they've flashed, but I'm reading from this blog as well. Again, this is the one that I've linked in the video description. So they include the video and the tweet from WikiLeaks, as well as this definition that they found of a grab team, which could be what WikiLeaks is describing, what they think these three people are part of. They also grabbed the actual file from the download link to the original high-quality video. They downloaded the actual video, ran it through this program, and as well.
With this program, this is actually Adobe's suite, which is the reason why I don't use Adobe products. I use Blender. Blender does everything that these programs will do. But anyhow, I'm interested in this part. MPEG movie, yeah, correct. And it shows as a transport, is a TS file. Pretty interesting. Size of the video, frame size of the video, 1920 by 1080. Frame rate 25, I spoiled that earlier. Total duration of the video and pixel aspect ratio. Oops, sorry. What I was also thinking on, double checking here.
Photoshop, the video properties, to give the actual video properties, file name, Assange.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is not totally. It's nothing I couldn't have figured out from Blender.
Grab team, a long series of numbers here. The file size is 124 megabytes. Given an image size, frame rate, the total duration again of the archive video is slightly longer at 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And then they give a screenshot of these mission briefing notes. And I do have this linked, this article linked.
Part of the problem in this is that the usable image size to the size of the video frame is quite small, but it's still around 1280 by 720. It's not far off of that.
The description, if you want to take a look at this image, if you go to the actual high quality video they posted, maybe you can get a better screenshot than this one. This is the best I've seen so far.
There are several there, and not only that, there are several in different points of a bunch of frames, right? So as frames, from frame to frame, some parts come into focus, go out of focus, depending on how the paper moves or how it's bent, or as the camera focuses from a distance to something, well, yeah, from a distance onto something at a specific focal distance. And I don't know if the camera's being controlled or, well, it actually shows signs of being controlled. So someone is trying to focus on the page.
Throughout the video, they say we see this person in the back of the vehicle reading what appears to be paper notes of some sort. At around the 2-minute mark, he holds the paper still long enough for us to get a glimpse of what it says on one of the sheets. Below is this close-up of one of the frames from the original video. It is a little bit blurry here, but again, this is what WikiLeaks is asking for, I think, trying to see who can decipher the most text from the pages that they've flashed in that video. So they credit a couple of Twitter users who have tried to decipher the page. This is what they have interpreted so far. So this it appears to be what is flashed in those briefing notes. Some things they're still trying to guess, but this is what they've said. So the title they think of the document says, in the event of loss of camera coverage, the first line they think from what reads something indecipherable, single or multiple cameras failure, multiple feed failure, and XX something else. The second line begins, they're not sure how it begins, but it says engineers are on call 24/7. Something else that says can be something else missing.
I don't know why anyone would try to decipher this stuff by not putting in the words. Or this is the frustrating part of the video. At this point, I said, when I first watched the video, I think I've watched enough. It's time for me to get busy. So let me load Blender and let's get busy. Here's the video. Here's the useful video size, 914 by 560. So it's a little bit bigger than 720 by 480 and smaller than 1280 by 720. It's a really finicky video size. And I don't want to blow it up any bigger than original size until I've got a bunch of still frames. So I had two decisions to make. Or I'm going to actually show off how I did this, how I figured this stuff out. Let me stick this over on this side a little more and make it tighter. This is around that point in the video where he's talking about. I downloaded the link from his link in the description. You can see that we do have a pretty good view there for most of this sequence. And where I've got this mark made is the last frame that's kind of useful. So I'm going to jump to the next marker and set that frame as the last frame. Copy that to there. I only need this many frames to see what he's reading. There are some other earlier points in the video. I'll show them here now. There are earlier points where the pages are in view, like there, but you don't see very much. Or here, and they're blurred by motion, but we do have a lot of frames in these points. See that? Lots and lots of text at a grainy resolution because it's an MPEG stream that we're looking at, the video itself. So, because it's an MPEG stream, to enhance this video, well, maybe I should show you, I will show you from the other point of view. Let's look at, I was testing the scale here of the video, and I really don't need to see this text window at the moment, so I'll just make this a little smaller. That's the image that we've been considering against the entire image available. Let me show what the entire image looks like. And on this layer, I can get rid of this one. On this layer, I've got two sets of the video information. This is the one I used to view it the first time. And when I was viewing it, I took my time to identify places where I could see things happening, like the pages come into view and then they fall off of view. Then there's a whole bunch of frames I'm not really interested in because I can't see much. Here, segment, I can see a few more here. And then there's the long segment marked by the green bar. And then afterward, I'm going to draw your attention to this part of the image. This is sometime after the image, or after the pages are not going to be on there anymore. So the video was cut short because of this. There's nothing more interesting than the people themselves. But I'm going to draw your attention to this part of the image. I'll leave my mouse close to it so you can see it happen. Okay, watch this. Aha, see that? See the reflection? And then, several frames later, he looks up, and then he turns his head inward as this occurs, as that occurs. Okay? And there's a second point where something similar occurs farther in the stream. That's this guy resettling in the car that caused the car to move back and forth. A second vehicle passes. You could probably lip read these guys here during this sequence too, because this guy apparently is reading aloud what he's looking at. And that's what he's also laughing at. And I've put a final mark right here to indicate the camera's being operated by a human. ROV like. Is he just getting off of shift maybe? I don't know. Is he a Newfoundlander? Ha! I don't know either. So, what have I done to improve the image so far? Very little. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do most of the work after this stage. I've got a 2-stage process in mind. But I can use this one to test it before I do it. So here I'll show you what I've done. First, I've put a brightness contrast modifier onto this strip. I can turn it off so you can see what I've done here. I like it better darker. I can lower the contrast that way a little bit. I can make it less bright again, but I think it needs to still be around about -7 in brightness. Maybe -6.1 would do. And contrast, I think, is improved at greater depth, especially where we're trying to look at pages of text. So that's all I've done to that first layer. But if I add a second layer of the same video information over the first, and with the same basic setup on brightness and contrast, I'll just illustrate what I mean. If I add this second layer and multiply the two, I get a controllable contrast, something similar to contrast, but not quite as contrasty. What it does is it multiplies dark values against themselves to make them even more dark. But in the case of text on pages, that gives us a really fine control over things like this. Look at that. That's an org chart. Is that visible this way? Well, it is visible, but it's not quite readable unless you have enough added contrast. I'm going to get rid of that for now, that modifier on the second strip. I'm going to change that to half. And now I can frame by frame through here, or I can go back a few frames. So part of the issue here is the depth of field for the camera control is currently at this guy's face. And these pages are what, 2-3 feet behind him? It can't be that far because his fist is, well, it seems closer than it really is. That is definitely an org chart. So there's text inside of that dark block, yeah? And that's the page that Chris was reading. So we'll have a good look at it here now. I'm going to turn this off for a second. And here's what I was talking about. The camera's currently focused to around about this depth. You can see some reflections here on the, is it a headrest? Yeah, the headrest of the passenger side. No, sorry, the driver's side. They're in Britain. It comes into focus, and then that comes into focus a little bit. Still in. It's drifting a little. It's over here again. And now toward the end of this first 2 minutes, 150, about 1 minute 50 seconds and onward, this all starts to come into focus. We can almost read the title here. In event of loss of camera coverage. Yeah. So, here's the question. Can we improve this process by process? And here's the place to really practice on it. Make it less bright. -10 looks pretty good. If I turn it up to 15. Yeah, turning the contrast up would work. Kudo. This is underlined and bolded. To be, will be necessary. So, if that's a good brightness and contrast to read these pages, or this page in particular, here's the next question. I'll refresh the sequencer before I unhide this one. Here's my multiply layer. Will multiplying this at a high rate do any favors to reading these? There's all kinds of frames close to it. Part of the issue here is the tipping of the page as well. The fact that it's been skewed a little bit, so these letters are bigger than these in the back because they're closer to the camera, and they're closer by the distance of the page. I was also wondering what's the pixel size for these here compared to the font size of on the page itself. Something will be necessary. Yeah, necessary. So I'm only doing this just to get an idea of what processing I might want to do on the image in the second layer or the second pass at it. But in the first pass, I'm going to render out a set of frames of just this area, just the interesting part, only this part of the whole file. And I'll give them frame number. When I render them, I'll render them as still image frames with a number, so they'll relate to the original, right, frame for frame. So, what did I have done on that one again? Oh yeah, -10 and 15. Let's try that on this one. -10, 15. Yeah, it's quite a bit darker. Let's go to the first frame of interest. So what am I doing here anyhow? I've already got the size of the final project figured. I only need these frames. I'm going to render them as still images, and what I'm hoping is that the size of the images isn't horribly large, because I don't have a heck of a lot of hard drive space. but I should have some assets, PIF work, and I'll create a folder for it. New folder. This is okay, and this is I only need a beginning of the file name there. So this would be the leading identifier, JA_GT2_, and then a file number. I'm going to render this as a still image. A bitmap would work, a PNG would work, JPEG would work, or a target would work. PNG probably be the best, close to lossless. And I get to choose a compression level with how detailed I want these frames to be. And of course, they're only this large. They're not actually that big. But they're still going to be 500K maybe. Yeah, 500K or more multiplied by 2200, which is quite a few frames. Let me see. Yeah, compression. Let's try. Hang on now. Maximum lossless compression with slow file output. Yeah, I want some compression applied. Let's try 80%. Color depth is black and white, so 8 would do. In fact, I'll do it in black and white with 16 colors. And it's PNG, overwrite placeholders, cache result, metadata. Don't need to stamp the output, although it is tempting to. Don't need a camera, don't need the date, don't need the time. I want frame number, file name would be nice. Yeah, I'll use all of those. Don't need any anti-aliasing, don't need any other scaling applied to it. So I want to see how big this file is, like on a file by file case. This is as busy as any of the images are likely to get. So if I render a single frame, well, it is quite a big frame. So if I want to save this, I hit F3. Go to my assets folder, go to where I need to save it. This is a test frame 0001. That'll be the only one named like that. But what I'm curious about is what's the size of that actual frame. So under there, under there, under there. Only oh, pretty good. Pretty good. I should be able to get a couple thousand frames without without chewing up all my hard drive. So awesome. So what's next? Now I need all of these frames from there to here. And the reason I want to use still frames rather than video information is because the video itself is an MPEG stream which has a series of, how to put it, keyframes that are interspersed throughout the length of the 25 frames a second. Maybe once every 5 frames, maybe once every 10 frames. This keyframing causes the image to skip around if I use the MPEG data when working in Blender or any other program really. It's possible that it will miscalculate what they're supposed to be because it refers to the previous keyframe to calculate what each pixel is. If I render out a sequential series of still images, that can't happen anymore. There'll be definite image data in each and every frame. It would be the same as having a keyframe for every frame of the video. It's going to be bigger than 140 megabytes worth of data though. So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to go on a short break while rendering, I think, but I'll leave it up so you can see it at full image size. Or like, yeah, as it's rendering. So here we go. Render active scene as still images. And I want that one. I'm going to take my mic off for a second here. Yeah, part of me kind of feels, how to describe this, kind of feels like I recognize something in these individuals because I got a hoodie on. But other than that, uh, jokes, jokes, jokes. I don't know if I might have made that a little too dark already. I'm not entirely sure. I can make this bigger, hey, while we're looking at it as it renders. It's almost finished. Spitting through frames pretty quick here. Let's just have a look at this part of the image. And as I say, this is rendering a still frame, a key frame for every frame, which is, I think, is the best route of attack for this particular program, or this particular problem too. You can see how this stuff is practically never going to be in focus. I've got a few ideas as to how I might be able to pick out some of these difficult to see words. Importance, yeah? There's many different ways of attack for this. You can count the number of letters in the words, figure them out that way. You can see the bend in the page real easy here. Almost finished. Here we go. And there you can see MPEG artifacting at its finest. Slowly figuring out that things have changed. I think they're done here. Yep. I'm now curious as to what the final file size for this whole dirty mess is going to have been. Hey, what's on the go here? I've got two. Oh, this one, right. I'm like, why have I got two fucking windows open? Oh, right. Properties. 400 megabytes now of data, where there was once much, much less. Let me organize these by name. And we can go to the top. If I now open this in Image Viewer, I can use this to scan through these with much greater facility and also fidelity. Yeah, you heard me. And I can skip quite quickly. Wow, look at that org chart. So there's a top, a middle, which got at least 5 sides there. Oh my God, man. A nightmare. Look at all the millions of ways you can deny everything from that layer onward. Oh man. Oh my God. How many pages? Not entirely sure here. So, I'll go back here and go up one. You know, importance. Importance, I think this is going to be, not information. It's too many words, too many letters. IMPORTANCE would fit there better. I bet you. I'll bet you. Oh, importance is the one after. Right, all right. any viewers? Do I have any viewers? Oh, we got one watching. It might be me. That could actually just be me monitoring myself. But I've only got that one page loaded, so I don't think that's actually the truth. So now that I've got that part done, I could go back and render those frames again. I may actually want to do something like that, but I can show you here in Blender how I can now load these images as a strip. If I go to YouTube working, oh sorry, gotta go to the right one here. It's under assets, work. This one, I can now hit A. To get this whole sequence. Several thousand images here. But don't forget I have one that was not in the image sequence, so I don't want it being used. Wow. It's this one here at the end. So if I hit A, I get all of them, but I can deselect that one. Hang on. No. That way. Ah, right. Using shift click to select or deselect that one. Here's the strip, fits the size, looks good. Gets me perfectly scrollable data every time. You can see the focus dropping in and out there, nice and easy. So if I don't like the darkness and contrast as I have it set for this sequence currently, I can also close out this window. I want to get rid of it, so join these areas that way. Here we go. If I find that this is too dark or I've used a little bit too much contrast, then I can re-render these images themselves, and this strip from this point onward would still be automatically updated. I'd have to reload it, that's it, just to get the new image data. I'm going to leave that right where it is. I'm also going to lock it so that it doesn't move. And I'll have to unlock, no, I don't have to unlock it to make it visible, right. Cool. And now if I want to duplicate this information, I can just duplicate the strip, but the strip is 400 megabytes, so be warned that the memory limitations are quite real. So here's the first one, set to crossfade. I'm going to set it to replace. This one I'm going to set to multiply. Just straight multiply the two of them together and see what happens. Already you can see some of what occurs. Everything gets darker, but things which are high contrast are quite dark. And now I've got specific control over what will or won't be coming in the frame, how dark it is. See the camera trying to catch up with the data here. I believe this is the last page that we'll be looking at again. And here's the turn. A single page. I could make this a little more viewable, huh? And this is, well, let's just go home here. It's pretty close to original scale. I'm using my arrow key to scroll forward here. So what's the difference between the dark squares and the light squares in the org chart, do you think? You can see clearly that these are, I don't think this is a flow chart. I think this is an org chart. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that a flow chart or an org chart? Your thoughts? And again, I could turn off this. I don't know if we find that's any more useful. Let me make this much smaller. Huh. And I do have specific control over how these two multiply on one another. I could show it here. So here's the opacity for the strip and stuff. It's set to multiply. I can turn down the multiply value. I can set it to about 50%. I can set it to 75, probably be all right. And then I also have modifiers, which can be applied to either one. Since this has already had a brightness contrast pass, I'm not going to bother with that. On the modifiers, don't need grease pencil either. Let's try a levels pass, curves. That's pretty neat. The white text stays on his hat there, see that? Because of the artifacting. As his hat comes in the way, it still picks up the text. You might actually have a better chance of reading some of that text as a result. Because it persists so long afterward. I'm skipping 10 frames at a time there. You can see the trying to catch up. Yeah, if I turn off this one, we'll see what I did with that last levels pass. I'm cranking it over to get light areas to bleed back value so that I can sharpen to some degree what the text will be. I'll come forward a little bit, you'll see what I'm after. I want to get rid of some of the contrast and maintain what's really dark. Look at that. So that I multiply just this area. So while that might be easy to see, it's actually not that much easier. But if I look for the sweet spot here, then multiply the two of them, I got a better chance of reading. That's my thinking in the matter. Let's test the hypothesis. Let's look for a good test frame. Let's just hide that frame, huh? Keep looking. Hell, that'll fit right in there, won't it? Right, I'll even hide that for a moment. Ha 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 ha. Again, I'll make it bigger for you. So YouTube, what do you think of this, huh? This is why I like Blender. A lot of people rag on it because it's free. On the other hand, I look at it and I say, well, I don't know. Free is pretty good. I got another cup of tea waiting there too. I'm gonna have another minute. So, any better? Yeah, I think that actually is quite a bit better. Let's see if this will. What if I crank it? And again, I'm gonna just. It's not much of a difference, but it's there. And I've got the strip set to a multiply value. I can make it brighter again that way. Or I can make it all together. Like make it 1, multiply it properly by 1 since the value is getting brighter and brighter, since I've overcranked the image. I've got to actually have it on 1 or I won't see it. I want these dark areas to be much, much darker. So I have to rethink my strategy for maintaining darkness. Ah, there it is. So, how about now? Multiply that 1. I need to multiply that at 50%. Let me just see. I'll try it at 75. I'm going to go 37% on the multiplication. again, I'm going to turn that off so I get a better idea of what might possibly be on these documents. Let's go back to the front part. I'm real curious as to what this chart says. It's quite clearly an org chart. If you don't see why I think that, I'll show you right here. It's right there. There. That says org chart to me, not flow chart. So, let me unhide this again. So without any additional darkness, a slight additional darkness, and that's what I'm trying to add on to it. Or multiply in. Let me try turning that up then. %57. Hide that one again. And see if I can't improve matters. Is there another one I could try? Not the white balance. The white balance wouldn't much help since it's, and I don't think tone map would much help either. But we go RH simple tone map. Wow, it needs to be a really low key. Oh, 0.007 maybe. What if I put that higher? Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go down. No, it needs to be RH simple. Gamma 0.7. Oh, 0.93. Offset 0.5. 1.23. First shot, second shot, yeah? Waiting to see if there's going to be anything in the chat tonight. Don't know if there's anybody watching. Hey, YouTube! What was I going to do? All right, I was going to turn this one on. Let's see if I get any improvement. Oh yeah, definitely looks improved to me. Out of sheer curiosity, if I duplicate it once and put it above, I'm going to add it on a second time, or multiply it a second time. With exactly the same sets of modifications. I could turn those off. So there's the modifications I made the first time. Here's the second one without the mods. And with the mods. Okay, scrolling forward at this moment in time. It's taking a while to chug these numbers because it's multiplying stuff twice and 3 times over. The chance of reading these with the bend in the paper is quite small. We can take a guess as to the number of letters, is about it. Like there. Circumstances and, yeah, it is probably information. Importance is here. Information, importance. So what's better? Is that more readable or not? So YouTube, that's practically all I wanted to show you with that tonight. And if there's anything to be uploaded or archived or anything along those lines, I'll be making another video about that. But you did get a pretty good idea there how to use, I think, how to use Blender to do this type of work, because it can do it. You need to be a little, you may probably got to plan ahead a little to make sure it's going to work out okay, but it will work. That's definitely going to be easier to read at least 2. And with 3, like there, almost the best chance to read that set of text is going to be as he brings it down onto the frame, past the curve of the window here, right here. That's the last line. What did he think it would be?
By GSZ, but
Will be necessary. Something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-letter word. 8-letter word. Kind of like working in black and white from time to time. Here we go. Let's try this with only one layer first. The moment it comes into focus. I don't know if it is necessary. It could be expected. It's underlined though, for sure, and bolded. I kind of funny word on the end there. It is recognized too. I don't think it's recognized. If images of op kudo are being blank, something will be something, and underlined, and it seems to finish off this thought. So this could be an EG or exemplar gratia. I don't know about EG. GSX. Not sure what that one is. Wait for this to come into frame again. Hey, I'm glad I got a microphone right on me though. I mean, I might be. I wondered if that was incapacitated. I'm going to hide that one. I'm going to show this one. Currently set to like half opacity on the layer, so it doesn't really show up too terribly well. I think what I might need to do is to go grab Y. I'm going to stick a mark on this part of the video. Add an effect strip. I want a color layer. I'm going to grab the end of the color layer and make it longer. In fact, I need it to be as long as the project, so I can do it this way. I want the color to be white. And now, if I jump to the next marker, just show you what I've done. It gives you a better idea what we're actually looking at with the layer here. So multiplied by 1 gives you the same value again. So in effect, this entire layer is that gray because I've got it set to multiply 50%. I'll show you what I mean. If I multiply by 1, but I've got it at 57%, so I'm adding this much light information through the processing. And here I'm going to try to fix this, make it a little more visible. Notice how that gets rid of it altogether. So here's the real trick. I'll hide that layer now. Unhide this layer. Set that at 1 too dark. So if I set that to 57 again, yeah, it doesn't really improve matters. I'm going to set it to 1. Yeah, I thought I was going to leave 20 minutes ago, and here I am still looking at it. If I unhide this one, yeah, that's just a frame too. I'm going to delete that for now. I'm going to worry about this first. Hey, what about the tone map? What's that doing? Let's just have a look at this again. So there's the color in the background. Doesn't really matter what it is at the moment. Here's the key for the tone map. It figures out how many tones to actually work with. 0.009. What if I go 0.013? That ends up being a really good frame for this. Wild, right? I have a real strong impulse to tone map this one the same way. RH simple. Key 13. What if I hide this for now? Ha. Better. What was the offset and gamma? 0.123 and negative. That's looking incredibly sharp to me. Not quite sharp enough to read it, but sharper. I'm skipping 10 frames at a time here. They're not going to get any more in focus, I don't think, than that. You can see the dirt on the window. Hide this for a second so I can keep this image in frame. Oh, did it just crash? I rolled it up by mistake. Hmm. In the event of loss of camera coverage. Definitely the title. In the event of loss of camera coverage. Yeah. Ah. So that explains the org chart. Explains the org chart because the org chart tells the operators where the cameras are and how they're linked in, so that they know what to monitor and when. Makes me wonder whether or not this text document can be found online, therefore it isn't what it appears to be. I got to do some more thinking, but I did some good thinking, and I've done it here online on the stream. So anyone has any comments or concerns about what I've been doing here, leave me a comment below. I am going to end the stream now. There was one other thing. Maybe I should get to that one other thing. And I just saved that project so before I finished. Maybe I should get to that one other thing. Let me go to my history. Here's the one other thing. I saw two pieces of news which really made me curious today. Second one is that Trump has postponed the North Korea peace conference. Which is lovely. I mean, not lovely, but surprise, surprise.
My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist,
and then there's this. H.A. called back something today which really should be remembered, I think. I think it's important.
My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. Please check out my latest article in the Daily Caller, Free Julian Assange. That is below in the below in the description section. The pinned comment will be, if you are a Glock lover, or if you love Glocks, or if you're interested in firearms, and if you appreciate the Second Amendment, you will love this segment. This and my 500 Smith & Wesson segment, 10.5-inch barrel. I think this is perhaps even better than that. It's a really cool. I had a tripod, and it was just. I mean, you get a really close up of the gun, and I'll keep it quick. If you appreciate and love the Second
link in the
Amendment,
description.
if you enjoy firearms safely and responsibly, this video abides by all YouTube policies, and it's my Glock 21 review, 45 ACP, 50 rounds. It's really awesome. Now I know, really, today, why people love Glock. Now, I mean, I love Glock now. Like, I had shot them before, but not, like, a long time ago. Not when I really understood what was going on. Anyway,
I'm quite
Patreon
tempted
link for that channel
really,
is below in the pinned
really
comment
quite tempted
if you
to
want
skip past this part.
Support
but anyway,
that channel with me supporting the Second Amendment. Sources: FBI agents want Congress to issue them subpoenas so they can reveal the Bureau's dirt. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I'm going to drink some Sprite in honor of that. Okay, just because my...
Okay, hang on a second here. That's very Agent of Doubt, isn't it? Very, very Agent of Doubt.
Because I'm thirsty. And,
Sure it is, sure.
This is amazing. Before we get what it is said, it has been reported that one of the people...
Before we get any further, actually, I've got a small update to make myself. A very small channel update, as it were. I've recently gained access to a computer system which would allow me to make new types of content, specifically gaming related, here on my channel. I can't stream it, not yet, but I might be able to do that soon too. And the content in particular isn't War Thunder. It's probably going to be World of Warships.
In addition to Peter Strzok,
War Thunder and World of Warships and World Tanks and all the rest of these games, they're all made in Russia.
Could be one of the FBI agents who is like, please, just subpoena me. Just send me a subpoena, and it's game, set, match. It's really interesting, too, because it seems that, well, I shouldn't say, James Comey already betrayed Andrew McCabe. So I was going to say something to the effect like, wow, it's taken a long time for these people to backstab each other, but they've already backstabbed one another. They've already done that. So, well, James Comey. James Comey was like, they referred criminal charges for Andrew McCabe, but he's not indicted yet. And Comey's already, I'll testify, call me, I'll testify. But this is a Daily Caller article. I'll put the link below. Sources: FBI agents want Congress to issue them subpoenas so they can reveal the Bureau's dirt. Kerry Pickett. Sources tell the Daily Caller several FBI agents want congressional subpoenas to testify about the agency's problems.
I don't know about you, but I know that Kerry Pickett is probably a little bit less than Wilson Pickett, but only just.
The sources claim there is a demand within the agency to prosecute former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe. They also say the Bureau has become totally politicized. I'm sure more than just McCabe. I'm sure Comey also. I can't imagine Peter Strzok is very popular in the FBI either. The subpoenas are desired by the FBI agents because it requires Congress to pay for their legal fees and protects them from the agency retribution. Wow. Well, there you go. I mean, if it's really like, you've joined this
Cult?
This is a close-knit group where...
He hesitated on a word, didn't he? Close-knit group where...
Just when you think of Frank Serpico and the NYPD in the 70s, he was a real true whistleblower.
How do we take it a different way than cult? Thank you.
And if you watch the documentary on him just recently, I forgot the name, but it was a great documentary. They left him for dead. They set him up.
They did.
There were people who set him up. And the officer who...
They didn't even call in the officer down. They didn't even call in officer's been shot and needs assistance. They didn't even call it in. They were sitting outside in a fucking car.
Who saved Serpico or saw him lying in a pool of blood and took him to the hospital.
He's a civilian.
Frank Serpico later stated that the officer said, well, if I knew it was Frank, I would have let him die. So it's crazy. There was that much animosity for, kind of speaking out.
Civilian called it in.
Against, a close-knit organization. The FBI is the same way.
Shots fired.
There are probably people who are very loyal and not loyal, but who just adhere to the groupthink. Because at a certain point, you have to realize you are not working for the FBI. You're working for the American people.
Fair point.
You're not working for just a police department. You're working for citizens of your community.
There you go.
So you are working to defend the country as an FBI agent. If Peter Strzok and James Comey and Andrew McCabe are like, oh, no problem, Clinton's server, say it slowly, Democrats, server, computer server, not just cell phone. Okay.
Oh, too easy. HA, you're going to kill me here.
Okay. Trump uses a cell phone, and it goes through the U.S. U.S. government's computer servers. He has a government email address. Okay. She had a Clinton email address. That was a joke. The whole planet hacked into it. It was unencrypted. But it's just a matter of time. So
this segment builds. I gotta give you a warning. There's another 7 minutes before it really turns on its heels and in a direction you might not see coming. But I saw it coming, and I think HA sees it coming too.
We know. Okay, so Trump has now publicized not just Spygate, but the Republicans are also.
Spygate is way bigger than Watergate.
Saying, hey,
it deserves the gate title in a way. Totally.
We want a special counsel for the FISA abuses for Clinton emails. That's in addition to the FBI.
You thought that Whitewater couldn't get bigger. That was it. That was as large as it was going to be. No, Spygate's way bigger than that.
Clinton Foundation probe that's ongoing, that started in January, actually before January, where they're interviewing people in Little Rock, Arkansas. There's also a DOJ email probe ongoing. Now, these are not formal criminal probes, but they're informal criminal probes. They're looking into how she transferred. If you read that Daily Beast article, the Daily Beast, not Fox, not Breitbart, the Daily Beast broke that story. Same journal publication that wrote a hit piece on me because I was a Bernie bro. Which is funny because Raw Story wrote a hit piece on me because I was a Bernie bro. And then wrote a hit piece on me because I'm voting for Trump 2020. You can't win. Do you understand? You can't win. There's nothing you could do. The only thing that would give me credibility to them. Well, no, actually, that's disgusting. Even then, But the only thing they would accept, if I
He didn't finish his thought. What's disgusting? He didn't tell us what his thought was. The only thing that he could do... Okay, I'm not going to finish the thought for him.
if I was like, I'm voting for Clinton 2020, even if she's in jail. Hillary, such a nice person, so trustworthy. But anyway, you have a situation now where the entire edifice is crumbling. The Titanic has already hit like 3 icebergs.
Oh boy, did it ever.
It's almost
The CNN Titanic?
completely sunk, but they're still on the deck chairs rearranging them and playing show tunes, and they don't even know what's going on. Do you understand?
Lining up Don Lemon.
And they don't know what's going on. So then you have Don Lemon tonight. It's like, just to let you know, you might hear some crazy things about us, but it's all lies, okay? He's like,
I left a series of comments on this video. That's the reason why I'm interested to show it off here. Maybe I didn't say anything about Don Lemon here, or maybe they got buried. Don Lemon got defended lately. Got defended
all lies. Here's
really, really hard. He got defended hard by, of all people, Steve Tyler of Aerosmith.
James Clapper. He's the honest one. He'll tell you. Right, James? Here's John Brennan. These are the same. Whenever you're speaking to somebody and they're like, that is a lie. You know how I know?
Tells us who Steve Tyler has invested heavily in the past, doesn't it?
Because James Clapper, John Brennan, and Andrew McCabe, and James Comey said it was a lie. Oh, 4 biggest liars in American politics. On a side note, are they helping us? Are they protecting this country from serious threats? Are we as asleep as we were prior to 9/11? Are we as asleep? Or are we just in, this, it's kind of like a microcosm or kind of like, when Bernie pointed, the deranged Hillary bots were like, that's sexist, that's misogynist. You just don't like to, you were shouting at her. You're a sexist and a misogynist and you hate women. You were shouting and pointing. You were shouting and pointing, but she's really tough. That was, you were shouting and pointing at her. She couldn't stand it, but Hillary's really tough. Then we found out Harvey Weinstein was the epitome of that stuff. Then we found out that, oh yeah, there's something more than just shouting and pointing, which Bernie didn't even do.
Hey.
Elevated his voice, the poor guy. They even had like voice meters, like, hey, elevate. You elevated your voice. You're a sexist misogynist. You cannot be a Democratic nominee. He just elevated his voice and he pointed it, like not at her. Oh, I think I pointed at her once. So what? Who cares? And then we found out that Harvey Weinstein, oh my God.
Here, that's good. Good angle here. Good angle.
I hope that's not the case with Trump Russia. Like, we're in this very naive, innocent, it's almost an innocent time. Almost, where we're debating over whether Trump colluded. This is a profanity alert. Do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity. Who the fuck cares if he colluded with Russia or fucking people on Mars? He didn't. There's about as much evidence that he colluded with people on Jupiter or Mars as he did with Russia, which is nonsense to begin with. Complete and utter nonsense. She outspent him 2-1.
Well, I'm thinking actually about World of Warships. I was mentioning I might start doing World of Warships as gaming content. I missed the boat. I fucking missed the boat. Haha, there's a little in-joke for the World of Warships crowd. I missed the boat in the sense that when I started playing the game for the very first time and having a good deal of success in rank 1 cruisers, I mean to say I got a Kraken Unleashed in the first 20 games. That wasn't that hard to actually get to. I got it in a Black Swan, but I didn't record the game in any way, shape, or form. I don't have a replay for it, and I don't have a video recording of me playing it live. So if I want to replicate that experience, I'd have to start another account and do it again from scratch. But I'd be much better the second time around than I was the first time around, surely. And I also have to create another goddamn email account. But anyway, it's beside the point. Maybe I can have more than one account registered to one email. Maybe I can. I wish I had recorded some of those games, though. I did learn quite a bit in the first 10 or 20 games. And with the Black Swan, man, that was fun. That really addicted me. When I saw that the cruiser line would have torpedoes 3 or 4 ships down the line, 2 or 3 ships down the line, I couldn't wait to get to that level. So I'm currently grinding the Caledon, and I'm loving it.
But this is not what we should be focusing on as a country. Just not in terms, if you're on the left, you want single payer, you want...
He focuses on guns, but I think anti-abortion and abortion seems to be a better issue than the gun rights to take on if you really want to challenge the viewership, so to speak.
Well, hopefully, the left, I don't know. If you left and right, you want to bring soldiers home. That's what always motivated me. And people don't understand why I wrote about Rand Paul and then Bernie Sanders.
I think that's probably why it's smart for HA to turn on the guns as he has. I mean to say, not turn on them, but to embrace it as something he shouldn't be having as a dirty little secret, that he's cool with guns as many Americans are. And I think that's awesome. So I think what he's also trying to say here, I want to make this clear. I have understood this about HA for a long time. When he's going on his peace talk, when he goes towards his anti-war hawk talk, that's why he is pro-guns at the moment. Gun ownership, gun use.
I even wrote about Elizabeth Warren when I thought that she was,
because he's not against the armed forces. He just doesn't want them getting killed he doesn't want them getting killed in stupid wars.
This person who would have a foreign policy like Bernie Sanders wanted to break up banks. There are things that bind people like Rand Paul and Bernie and even Elizabeth Warren and Trump. Not breaking up banks, but at least Trump is less hawkish. At least he's going up against the intelligence community that perhaps nobody would have done in the same way, because they're going after him, and he's Trump, so he fights back. The thing with Bernie is that...
Trump fights back! New it's at 11!
I love Bernie Sanders as a human being, but he doesn't fight. Okay? He doesn't fight back, and then people... There are people on Twitter or whatever, they're like, oh, you're a traitor. I'm like, wait a second, okay. Forget about the fact that, well, there's only two ways I would not vote for Trump. If, God forbid, Julian Assange is extradited to the U.S., I will not vote for Trump. Okay? Under Trump's administration, no. And then, if, God forbid, we're in a quagmire, destroys Libya, or destroys a country like Libya, no, I wouldn't vote for Trump. But with Trump, you get peace between North and South Korea, which is an amazing thing. It's a groundbreaking thing. Were we any closer to peace in the Korean Peninsula with Obama, Bush, or would we have been with Clinton, who in a WikiLeaks email said, we threatened China to ring them with missile defense. Well, yeah, that's why you didn't have any chance with North Korea.
Typing away in the chat.
And then the paradigm...
You got to be part of the chat to actually enjoy what I just said.
Look what he's doing with Kim Jong-un. Oh, my God. Well, he had nothing to do with peace. Now, okay, I can go on forever. But now we have the propaganda blitz. So I'll just read you. Trump was never spied on. The Washington Post has articles within days of each other. Trump was never spied on. Here's why Trump was spied on. They're not even trying. Do you understand? They're not trying. Many agents in the FBI want Congress to subpoena them so they can reveal problems caused by former FBI Director James Comey and former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe, 3 people in direct contact with active field agents, tell the Daily Caller. There are agents all over this country who love the Bureau and are sickened by James Comey's behavior, and Andrew McCabe and Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch, and thugs like Brennan, who despise the fact that the Bureau was used as a tool of political intelligence by the Obama administration. So,
Oh,
I guess I can go on forever.
I saw it. Now, I got to give HA a little bit of credit. He's been trying to edit things in the past, and I've wondered maybe YouTube has been shortening the videos or something. Like you could tell that it got cut off and he was in the middle of saying something. And he uploaded it thinking that it said more, maybe. I don't know. But I just saw an edit there. There's clearly an edit there. I can frame by frame. You frame by frame in YouTube. I was told this on the chat while live streaming last September. You can frame by using the period key and the comma key for forward and back. Here we are at 13:33. We'll see the cut, I imagine. Here it is. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. At the halfway point of that second, there is a cut. Wow.
I guess I can go on forever, but the main thing is this. What role did President
Interesting way to resume. I can go on forever.
Obama have? What role did Hillary Clinton have?
Oh, because it's a timer on his phone.
What role did...
He's not getting a phone call. It's a vibrator telling him. I thought this earlier. I was going to talk about it. I just saw it happen again. Look. Did you see that? That's not somebody texting him. That's not necessarily someone phoning him. That's a timer, which tells him every time he hits snooze, this is my, 18-minute crowd, 23-minute crowd, 28-minute crowd, 38-minute crowd. I don't know. It's 28-minute crowd today.
John Brennan, James Comey, and James Clapper have in facilitating their objectives? That's the issue. When people say Obama would never have spied, they're also saying Obama was too stupid to realize that his entire intelligence community or agency chiefs were engaging in an activity that helped Hillary Clinton without any evidence of criminal wrongdoing. It's one thing if there was actually evidence of Trump working with Russia. It's one thing if there was actually evidence that, because Obama actually stated.
He remembers something. The long memory belongs to fucking H.A. Goodman.
Himself, there's no way Russia could.
Click,
Here's
click.
the issue. And this is why the FBI agents also are upset, because it's obvious nonsense. Obama, Russia did not.
Obama projected everything and totally exposed them to butt rape in the media.
Of course, election will not be rigged.
In the free media.
Obama stop. He told Trump.
Let
to stop
alone
whining.
I've said for a long time. I've tried to tell people this in comments. It's useless to type a comment some of the time. They get thousands of comments. They don't get notifications for each and every reply. I get a few replies from creators. They're far and few between, but they do exist. Some just won't talk to me. HA is close to one of them. But, yeah. What was I trying to tell these other creators? This is simple. It's not only bad trolls and good hackers or good, white hat hackers. In between the black hats and the white hats, there are many, 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 many gray hats. And that's exactly the problem with the various bureaucracies of the world who are populated by real human beings that tend to one political favor or another. And this is the political favors or flavors or points of view, persuasions, whatever you want to call them, cults. They define the gray area, which is why there's a tide and a sway and a flow and a this and a that at the political level.
Okay. I can't believe CNN still has this. President Obama responds to Donald Trump's claim of a
CNN.
rigged election, saying Trump should stop whining.
Obama announced what the agenda was going to be. He literally, I shouldn't say words like that, but he literally said things with the metaphor game in such a manner that it made a bad thing into a good thing, seemingly, even though it was a direct admission of what everybody in the system knew. So if they had never turned on backdoor Bo before, that's when the back door was opened. I mean, I'm talking about obvious admission that he's going to need a lot of lawyers in the future, which he hired.
Look at this. They changed the narrative. Listen to President Obama.
Yeah. Changed the narrative. He announced what the agenda was going to be. So there's the agenda. Anyone who've ever wondered what the agenda was or where it existed, fucking Bo.
In my lifetime, or in modern political scene,
Listen to this. I will put this below. Share this everywhere.
I have never seen in my lifetime
2017.
or in modern political history
Motherfucker. Pardon my French.
any presidential candidate
Ugh.
trying to discredit the elections and the election process before votes have even taken place.
What?
It's unprecedented. It happens to be based.
How does he speak to both sides of the crowd, ladies and gentlemen, if not by veiling it in that manner? Listen.
Discredit candidate. Any presidential candidate seen
I have never
my
seen
lifetime
in my lifetime
or in modern political history
or in modern political history
any presidential candidate
any presidential candidate, anonymous,
trying to discredit the elections and the election process before votes have even taken place.
backdoor Bo, ladies and
It's
gentlemen,
unprecedented.
son of Zog.
It
Fuck.
happens to be based on no facts.
Huh.
So Russia is based on no facts. This should be, honestly, Trump needs to tweet this out. Trump has to tweet this out. It's based on no facts. Russia did it. Let's listen more, though.
Every expert,
It's based on no facts.
regardless of political party, regardless of ideology, conservative or liberal, who has ever examined these issues in a serious way, will tell you that instances of significant voter fraud are not to be found.
What?
So there's no voter fraud, but Russia influenced the election. Is that what we've come to? And now, of course, FBI agents are like, the heck with this. Enough. The FBI used to be, look, even the CIA during the Cold War, or like when I was in college or whatever, I was after the Cold War, but like it was right after. But yeah, sure. If you did any reading or if you were, educated, you'd realize that these agencies, presided over really horrible things. Okay, but there was an allure back in the 90s or 80s, an allure to being an FBI agent, a CIA agent. Now people are growing up and they're looking at these agencies like they're like just extensions of CNN. Now you have President Obama, who, I'm tweeting this forever. This is unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. Everybody needs to... I'll put this below in the pinned comment also. Oh, Lord, where was I?
That,
Bo.
keep in mind, elections are run by state and local officials, which means that there are places like Florida, for example, where you've got a Republican governor who's a Republican appointees are going to be running and monitoring a whole bunch of these election sites. The notion that somehow, if Mr. Trump loses Florida, it's because of those people that you have to watch out for. That
Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
is responsible.
See, that's the thing. People love Obama because he was extremely intelligent. He was extremely savvy. He was he was a fantastic speaker. He was a fantastic campaigner. He was very smooth. He was very much like Bill Clinton. He had a certain charisma that exuded like an expertise in diplomacy or in leadership. Not that he was a great leader, but he portrayed this confidence or this expertise that he just knew what he was talking about.
If there was a moment that he lost a lot of support, he backdoor Bo, before he left office, pardoned one person out of all the people that they'd officially pardoned.
Wasn't he University of Chicago? Hold on one second.
Backdoor Bo. Nobody knows this stuff, right? Who are you looking this up, man?
He was just this really Chicago law school, and then Harvard University.
Afterward, yeah. Mm-hmm. Apparently. So-called. Probably Paris for a little while
Harvard
in there.
Law Review.
You think Bo went to Paris? I think Bo went to Paris, yeah. Sometime in the 90s, he spent time in Paris. He had to have.
He taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago.
Sure, why not? Did he practice law?
Defeated McCain. He was America's first black president. So, I mean, there are some things you can't take away from Obama. The AC.
He got elected to Congress / the Senate, didn't he?
Was something good for progressives.
Before the president.
Other than that, there's very few things you could say that are...
Took McCain on in his own field first. Beat him in the presidential race as a result. But in the meantime, there was somebody else in the field already who put up a fight for him owning the organization.
Lasting legacy, especially in terms of foreign policy. He destroyed Libya. He helped destroy Libya. He got us into Yemen.
You know why?
He got us into Syria. So, in terms of the Middle East and North Africa, his foreign policy was mayhem and chaos.
Someone else might have influenced it, hey?
So many scandals under his watch. But Obama was everything that the D.C. establishment...
Obama was every inch a sailor.
In terms of...
Sorry.
This
Bo was every inch a sailor.
Kind of appeal to expertise and bureaucracy and to education and to this...
Breaking news from H.A. Goodman, actually. James Clapper admits to Trump FBI mold and denies infiltrating the campaign. You can find that on H.A.'s channel as we
false
speak.
sense of civility and, just this charm that he had. They all loved him. But when this completely obliterates, and utterly obliterates Trump-Russia.
No.
Because he's basically saying even if Russia tried to interfere, they couldn't have. Well, you have a Republican governor, and you have Democratic people within cities, and he's completely undermining. I mean, if you want to just win an argument, use this segment here. Let's continue.
By the way, doesn't really show the kind of leadership and toughness that you'd want out of a president.
Oh, okay. So Hillary's
who's he talking about?
been whining and complaining about Russia ever since the day she lost. Thank goodness she's not president.
You start whining before the game's even over.
See, he's like, you start whining before the game's even over? Russia did it. Russia did it. Russia. That's all you've been whining about, Democrats. And even
I think Stick said it best. I really do. I don't believe the more Russia bullshit.
Obama is like, as he's giving this little speech about how you can't rig the election, he's trying to engage in an insurance policy. Because his intelligence chiefs from Clapper to Brennan to Comey are spying on Trump, purchasing a Steele dossier, pretending the DNC was hacked. That's why he dragged his feet in terms of not doing anything. He waited and waited and waited and waited and waited, and he said, finally, oh, yeah, I'll sanction Russia. Because he knew there was nothing there. He knew there was. That's why the NSA is only moderately confident, because the NSA is like, you know.
He didn't have. Yeah, he waited and waited and waited until he couldn't wait any longer without actually drawing the attention of people he couldn't directly control and would be less and less capable of controlling as time went on. So I'm going to say this again. I think Trump not going or preventing the Korea conference due to some sleight of hand this way or face thing that way, and it involves Pence. Yeah, backdoor bow, ladies and gentlemen. You mark my words. I think backdoor bow's got a way into this situation, and guess where it's going to be from? It's going to be Vice President Mike Pence.
What? You guys can go ahead and destroy your reputations. We're moderately confident. We're out of this.
Yeah. Why so? Because if he's got an in on North Korea, he could tell them which one to pick.
It's really the FBI and CIA that are just, destroying their reputations. That's why FBI agents want, destroying their reputations.
Listen.
You guys can go ahead and destroy your reputations. We're moderately confident. We're out of this. It's really the FBI and CIA that are just, destroying their reputations. That's why FBI agents want
two sets of
they want
triple letters. You could add a few more.
They want some kind of way to, save their reputation. There's no more prestige anymore. Not that, okay, if you knew about everything bad they did, fine. But prior to this era in U.S. politics, there was some kind of prestige to being an FBI agent or a CIA agent. Now you have Comey and Brennan and Clapper, who are basically like, oh, well, we're the intelligence community. Look at us. We're so horrible. We're like slimy reptilian liars. And that's, you want a career in that?
David Icke, ladies and
You
gentlemen.
look like us after 30 years. Isn't that appealing?
I don't want to say it.
Give me
I
your
don't want to
thoughts,
say
Bullock.
it.
Go on
HA,
forever.
you make it too easy. Don't let me say it.
Let's just hear the rest of President Obama.
I shouldn't say anything even remotely negative, pejorative, or not derogatory, but I wouldn't say something derogatory anyway. Not if it wasn't true. If it was true, then it wouldn't be derogatory per se. Same as it wouldn't be slanderous or libelous, I think. But anyhow, yeah. Sometimes I got words. I could think of ad hominem attacks upon Mr. H.A. Goodman, which I won't make. Because I don't want. I mean,
if whenever things are going badly for
did he get started off with a bit of water in the gasoline there, animatronic bow?
you and you lose, you start blaming somebody else, then you don't have what it takes to be in this job. But the larger
Projection.
Well, guess what? Hillary did. I guess Hillary doesn't have what it takes to be in the White House. That job. Because Hillary
Arrogant.
spent every nanosecond blaming Russia, the Electoral College, Bernie Bros, Jill Stein, sexism.
Think like an Easterner. I might have actually said that was Occam's razor.
Comey's letter. Even though Comey went to bat for her and basically
Comey's
presided
letter.
over everything, a cover-up and a... So...
Comey's letter is actually a ransom demand. A barely veiled ransom demand. He had to threaten So all the threatening is done. Then he takes the blame for it. He announced it and had to explain it. He got a book deal. He got a book deal. That's for his ransom demand. That's what I say.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
Point that I want to emphasize here is that there's no serious.
Man, oh man, I missed the motor that needed a gasoline and oil mixed. I really do. The smell, ooh, much better. And there was a lot, you know, you had to watch out for condensation and the like. But
person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections.
There's no serious person. This is a profanity alert. Do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity.
yeah.
President Obama said there's no serious person. This is a profanity alert. Except every fucking Democrat is now saying that Russia rigged the election. But President Obama just said right now, oh my goodness, here, you know, every expert has said, always an appeal to authority. Democrats always appeal to authority.
It's like a flood once the dam breaks. The levee goes, bam, in comes HA.
Then when they're caught with their pants down, they say, well, it must have been right because it happened. This is Obama actually insulting
The guy dark HA's hair actually is his hair.
Democrats prior to them doing everything he said Trump shouldn't do before the election.
In part because they're so decentralized and the numbers of votes involved. There's no evidence that that has happened in the past or that there are instances in which that will happen this time.
When you listen to President Obama, you feel a sense that this man knows a lot. It's not like James Comey, who's this is a profanity alert. This is a profanity alert, and
Pick
do
one.
not listen if you don't want to hear profanity or crude language.
Pick one.
It's not like James Comey, who's like a retarded fucking imbecile,
Whoa!
who just...
Retarded fucking imbecile. That's... Oh, right. Fucking.
James Comey is like...
Generally, profane requires fucking.
He is the... I call him the intellectual imbecile, or the...
No. He's... See...
intelligent ignoramus.
No. For falling on his sword, for acting as a rear guard, for white knighting for the likes of trillion-dollar hoarding Hindenburg and her ilk.
Comey is like, you know, I'm gonna lie to your face, but really, if you just knew maybe 1/10 of what I know, if you were just in tune with like all the
This is again Comey's letter. Comey's letter from 2016.
classified intelligence that I know,
As if I would own up to it.
then you would understand. Then you would possibly even grasp what
Deep
I'm
hole.
saying. Because what I'm going to do right now is James Comey.
Deep
James
hole.
Comey, what he does is he talks out of his ass, but then he pretends that all the nonsensical things he says
Deep
are the rantings
hole.
of somebody who just knows so much more than you, so much more than you
Deep
even comprehend.
hole.
That's why when he doesn't make sense, and you think he doesn't make sense, he really does make sense. You're just not smart enough or in the know.
Yeah.
Don't you know? But with Obama, when you hear him speak, it's like, okay, like, there's like, you know, a professor or
What's this click thing?
somebody you're listening. Okay.
That's a minute in advance of the end of the video.
That makes sense. All right. What you just said, you basically just burned everyone like who's ever said anything about Trump Russia in that speech. This is like a speech for the ages. I don't know why. Trump, please tweet this. It'll be hilarious. Tweet this, CNN. You don't even have to. If it's CNN,
Yeah, call it back. It's true. Call it back. Obvious bullshit Obama. Obvious backdoor Bo. Obvious.
or
It's a good time to remember how Bo was involved at the very beginning and how he's going to be involved in North Korea too. There is no fucking way they would have come to the negotiating table at all without Bo to underwrite it for part of the demographic of the world. Bo had to be there in France for the elections. Had to be there for some strange fucking reason. Nobody told me what this reason is.
Trump, stop whining. Obama to Trump, stop whining. Fire Mueller and tweet this. That's what he should do.
Yeah.
He should just fire Mueller,
Fire
indict
Mueller
Clinton,
outright.
which will happen eventually.
And tweet that.
Indict Comey, McCabe, all of them. And tweet this. And tweet this. This segment of President Obama. Give me your thoughts below.
I think I did. Goes to work to save Trump by bald-faced lying, backdoor Bo, and using a metaphor game like a fictitious arsehole. It's a fact. News 11. Guess it's going to have to save the Korea thing now. Who knew? Who cares? Hey. Thank you very much, H.A. And with that, I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks for watching. Comment below. Subscribe if you haven't.